Well, welcome to ESC 2012. On the runway with this trial, achieving liftoff. I think the good news is not only is enrollment beginning at a pretty crisp rate, I'd say as well as we expected or better, but also, as you'll see, you're very good at sending in all the biomarkers and all the MRIs, so we feel like we're going to have very good ascertainment of the primary endpoint to answer the very important question that we've been brought forth to look at. One thing I want to say is a note of congratulations to Dr. Kloner and his team. Many of you may know that the American Heart Association has a new journal. It's an open access journal. You don't have to pay to see the information, and it's the American Heart Association journal. And they put out a copy version of it, and I want to let you know that Dr. Kloner and his group's article and Dr. Brown, their study on Bendavia and the reduction in reperfusion injury in animal models is highlighted in the first issue. So we have copies of this over on the front desk here. Please pick up a copy to look at Dr. Kloner's work. Let's give Dr. Kloner's group a round of applause. Really great work, kind of the theoretical underpinning of what we're trying to achieve. Now, we are here at the BMW building tonight, and Travis asked me, you know, what could we come up with for a theme for BMW? And I'm pretty good with these little, names. And so the B stands for Bendavia. The M stands for MI, so it's Bendavia and MI. And the W stands for winner, and we're going to have some enrollment winners tonight, but everyone's a winner for being here, of course. So when you leave tonight, pick up your BMW polo shirt, all right? It's also got on the sleeve here, Race for Embrace. You know, that's one of the logos for the study. The shirts are right out here in front, so pick those up anytime during the dinner or when you're done. Well, let's review our progress. So far, we have 4 countries involved. I think every country has someone here from their country: Poland, Germany, Hungary, United States. So far, we have 13 enrolling sites, and so far today, we have 19 subjects enrolled so far. This slide shows where everyone is in the process of getting their sites up and running. The real winner here is, well, 2 winners, I guess I'd say. Poland, first of all. Poland is in the salmon color here. 15 sites that should get up and running. 13 are in the active startup phase, and then 8 active sites. So about half of the anticipated sites are now up and running. Congratulations to Poland. Let's have a round of applause. Kind of led largely by JP2, John Paul II. Germany is doing quite well in getting things up and running, at least up to the IRB approval process. Not through the process yet. Of course, Germany had a little bit of a delay with the creatinine clearance testing, and that seems to be ironed out. So great progress by Germany, getting up and running. Congratulations. United States. You know, we have a problem in the United States. It's called attorneys. What do you call 1,000 attorneys at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. So, we are very delayed in getting our sites approved and up and running. There's so many contracts that have to be executed, and there's so many delays, but we'll get there. It's always a little slower in the United States. And I would like to congratulate Dr. Bob Giuliano. Bob, could you stand up? Our lead investigator from the United States for first patient enrolled in the United States. So congratulations getting the U.S. off the ground. And Hungary, is here tonight. One of our leading enrollers is here from Hungary, so making an important contribution as well. So we have had 7 patients enrolled from Hungary, and we've had 11 patients enrolled from Poland, 1 from the United States. Let's work our way up from the bottom of the list. Bob, stand up to speak loudly. Say a few words about the United States, if you could. Well, yes, all great journeys begin with the first step. Yeah.
Well, we have some unique challenges in that every MI is now cataloged, and the doors we kind of follow very closely, but we're working with investigators
was just saying that we're working with investigators to not adversely impact the door-to-balloon time, and also to make them understand that that research is important, and patients enrolled in research studies also get backed out of the ACC tally for metrics. So, you know, we'll have more, but this is just the first.
Can you hand the microphone to Doug Weaver, who's next to you? Sorry, Doug, I caught you with a mouthful maybe, but Doug, can you say a few words about the ACC's perspective on counting these patients?
Yeah, the NCDR registry, which is where we get our door-to-balloon times, and they get transmitted to everyone else for publication, has never counted patients that are part of research trials in those times. So you don't hurt your medical center one iota by participating. And as Bob said, when you do participate, you actually do look at your system and probably will make your system better because of it, the way the process is. And so I think you have to reassure the emergency physicians, all of the team, that it's all right to enroll patients in this. And if you do slip a bit in the time, it's not going to count against you.
Thanks, Doug. Great. Do we have our country lead from Hungary? Let's get a word, anyone from Hungary tonight. Dr. Lukovics, can we have any words from anyone from Hungary?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a very excellent center, the Summerwest University Cardiology Center, which randomized 5 or 6 patients. So we are very proud. And this is, as I see, the second in the row.
Well, you know, you're gaining ground on Poland. How's that? So congratulations. Is Mikhail Tendera here tonight? Mikhail did not make it. Well, again, in the JP2 team, the John Paul II team, couldn't make it here this evening, but they're doing quite well in enrollment. So this is a plot of the expected enrollment, which is the dotted line, and the actual enrollment is the green line. I hope the green line will always be ahead of the dotted line. So far, we're right where we expect to be in terms of enrollment, so we're reaching our target. Who are these people that you're enrolling? Like many STEMI trials, they tend to be a little younger. They're 59 years of age. I would say 53% male. It's awful early, but that is a lower proportion of males than usual. Often it's about 70 to 75% male. Typical of STEMI studies, in 2012, the weight's a little heavier than it was in the 1990s. Now it's up to 75 kilograms. But very importantly, the time to PCI, 138 minutes, just over 2 hours. So this is very important because we're still during that period where we can reverse some of the irreversible destruction due to the myonecrosis. Now, this is a fascinating statistic. The average number of markers that have been collected are 9 out of the anticipated 8. There's up to 9 markers that could be collected. We have to have 5 measurements to calculate the area under the curve. So what I'm most thrilled with is that the group is actually exceeding by far our expectation and hope for the number of biomarkers that have been collected. So really, congratulations on the biomarkers. Let's have a round of applause on that. That's great work, because that is our primary endpoint. If we were only getting 3 or 4 of those, we wouldn't be able to measure the primary endpoint. The other big endpoint is the MRIs. So far, we've had 19 people enrolled. This slide is a couple patients behind. 17 people enrolled. So far, 4 of the MRIs have not been sent in. But people are doing a pretty good job of sending in the MRIs in a timely fashion. The next big question is the MRI interpretable? It looks like virtually all of the MRIs are interpretable. There was one that had to be redone because of the imaging sequence. But getting them in quickly and having them all be interpretable, that is great news for the study. Now, sadly, in the past, these drugs have failed because people gave the drug after reperfusion. So a big part of the protocol is making sure that you give the drug before reperfusion. And so far we have 100% compliance in people administering the drug at least 15 minutes before the PCI. Great news. Coronary angiography, we really can't pat our back on that one. You have to do an angiogram to have a PCI. The enzyme numbers are quite good. Everyone is so far getting the 4-day MRI, and of the eligible patients, so far everyone has gotten the 30-day MRI. So again, a big round of applause for everybody for following the protocol, not just getting the patients enrolled, but also following the protocol. So keep up the good work, giving the drug in a timely fashion. Please send in your angiograms to ICON right away. Again, it's important that we see what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right so we can take corrective action. Send in all those EKGs, another important endpoint, the SC segment resolution, and keep obtaining those MRIs. So we are going to bring another country on board, the Netherlands. Some of you worked with us in the Infuse AMI study that Greg Stone and I did. The Netherlands were really a leading country in that trial. They have sites that are very capable of doing PCI and MRI. If you have any other peers in your own country or the countries that are listed or in the Netherlands, please provide us names of people that you feel could not only do the PCI, they get the enzymes and get the MRI as well. We also have just submitted, and many of you are co-authors on this paper, the design paper to the American Heart Journal. This goes through the protocol and lays out the primary endpoint and the secondary endpoints. That was just submitted, and we'll see what the review shows. Now, it's not out there yet. We've begun testing it, but it should be available soon. This is really about the first trial that's going to have a social media website. And this is really all of your websites. It's meant to be bi-directional and participatory. What you're going to see on the site in the upper left-hand corner is news specific to the study, and you'll see interviews. We did about 5 or 6 interviews tonight. Those will appear up on the left-hand side. You'll see cardiology news, and that's news that is piped in from the heart.org. So instead of having to go to the heart.org every day, you can look right here and see what the news is there and go to those news stories. We'll also have news stories that are accumulated from around the internet about reperfusion injury. All those will appear. And finally, news about Bendavia that's appearing out there on the internet. You'll be able to see a snapshot of enrollment at all times. You can click and see the answers to frequently asked questions. You know, the old method was to put out a quarterly newsletter or to put out numbered memos. The new way we're trying to do it is in real time, provide you with access to the question and the answer. You'll also see pictures. We'll be taking your pictures so that we can highlight the top enrollers. We'll probably have it every week or every few weeks, the top enrollers for the past few weeks highlighted, but then the all-time leading enrollers. Of course, we'll have all the documents available for download, all the slides available for download, a calendar that shows the upcoming events, and very importantly, we do have the WikiDoc textbook. We now have 400,000 views a day, 160 million views each year of this textbook, and you're all invited to be co-authors of the chapters on reperfusion injury. So what we want to make is all of the content, the scientific content, we want to open it up to your participation and your co-authorship on this site. So we're integrating a textbook into the social media website for the trial. So now let's stop for a moment and gather some thoughts from all of you. You know, I've talked to many of you, and so far it seems like most people are screening 24/7. If you're screening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as a site, raise your hand. That's good to see. You know, in the United States, we used to do that, but now we've gone to 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. That's 40 hours. You know, that's just a fraction of what it used to be. Again, any problems getting the CKMBs? Has that represented a problem for anyone? Doesn't look like it because you've actually exceeded our expectations. Is everyone clear on the 4-day MRI sequence? I know we had one patient where the sequence was not obtained in the right way, but that's pretty good for 19 patients to have only stumbled once. If you do have any questions, please direct them to Icon Medical Imaging. They'll be able to answer your questions. So let's now move on to the awards portion of the evening. Again, BMW standing for the Bendavia in MI enrollment winner. We have a few of our winners here tonight. I'm going to work my way from the bottom of the list up. Again, two of our leading enrollers come from Hungary. Let's have a round of applause for Dr. Lukovic and his team. Dr. Lukovic, could you come up? So we have a framed, certificate here for your being a BMW winner. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. I'm sad to say that our friends from Poland aren't here, and they came in 4th, 3rd, and 2nd place. But our leading enroller, and most of the team is here, so I want the whole team to come up. From Dr. Merkley and your entire team, please come up. So far, five patients, one for each investigator, right, Dr. Merkley?
Thank you.
Good. Congratulations. Do you want to say a few words about enrollment at your center? Come on up.
As Professor János mentioned, in Hungary, we have a well-organized primary PCI duty. It is a very small country, as you know. It's easy to organize such a good functioning system, a good networking. And so we try to screen all of our patients, and if we are able to find, we enroll them. And of course, we have a transtelephonic ECG system which can help, and we can really wait for the potential patient who can be one of the patients in Embrace STEMI. So we really are really happy to be one of the center who can join for this extremely interesting study.
We also have a 24/7 MRI support. So performing the timely first and second MRI is not a problem. We do make sure to use the proper sequences. There are just minor differences from usual acute MI protocols, so I think it won't be a problem, and I hope that we will have nice results in the study.
Great, thank you, Dr. Todd. Great. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We had our startup meeting in Budapest, and it's good to see you guys leading the way. Save the date. We get together again in Hollywood, Los Angeles, for the American Heart Association meeting, November 4th through 6th. I don't know how you can top this venue, Travis. This is pretty good, but we'll see what you can do. And also save the date for ACC. ACC this year is in San Francisco, March 9th to 11th, so save the date. Well, this completes the formal part of this evening. I want to ask Travis to come up and provide a word from our sponsor.
Well, thank you, Chairman Gibson. I think that was a great update on Embrace STEMI. As most of you may know, I'm the sponsor CEO, Travis Wilson. Good evening to everyone for joining us. Can't thank you enough for joining and taking the time out of your schedules to be with us. And for those folks that are online, thank you again. We'll go ahead and have a lovely evening tonight with dinner. And in a few moments, you can go ahead and sign off and enjoy the remainder of your Sundays. As Dr. Gibson indicated, we're off to a successful start, and we're looking forward to a successful future. And that's thanks in part to the hard work that everyone's put in to move us from the initial takeoff stage of the study all the way into we're accelerating down the runway and looking to take off and begin an even upswing, as you saw from the recruitment curve, to a full flight and hopefully safe landing on Embrace STEMI. With active sites in Poland and Hungary and the US, and enrollment in each of those countries, it's appropriate that we're here in Munich, Germany, because as most of you know, Germany is coming online and beginning their recruitment this week. In fact, we have a couple sites, including Dr. Ahrens and Dr. Van Dahl. We have folks coming and visiting to initiate study sites in the next week or two, and we'll have our first sites up in Germany and being ready to tackle that inflection point as we begin to take off and really bring in more patients to embrace STEMI. So let's have a round of applause to those folks from Germany who will be enrolling their sites and starting in the next week or two. So we're pleased to be off to an excellent start. But as Dr. Gibson pointed out, 24/7 enrollment is where we need to be. While we have several sites, as you can see from the winners that we pointed out tonight, that they're exceeding where we need to end up in terms of their recruitment goals. There are always, obviously, those sites, as you can tell from the 13 active sites that we have, that are either not enrolling patients at this time or are falling a little bit behind in their recruitment goals. So as we close, and appropriately, the holiday summer in Europe and the U.S., and we move into September, we encourage those folks to redouble their efforts as they move forward into enrolling that first patient and meeting their recruitment goals over time. Finally, I'd like to thank everyone that could join us tonight, either in person or via the webcast. It's great to have an opportunity to give you an update on the trial and let you know the progress that we've made. And I think for all of us here, we couldn't be thankful enough for all the hard work that people have put in to make this a success thus far. As I mentioned, for those joining via the internet, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And for those that are here tonight, enjoy some fine drink, food, and discussion. And we have some folks that help coordinate the evening, and let's give them the final round of applause as we move into the enjoyment of food and drink. Thank you, everyone.